on two wheels this week. At last, a British 225 mph superbike. Jeff goes behind the scenes to see how the new Norton is shaping up. And with scooters becoming more and more trendy, we send out our own Mr. Cool, Wayne, to check out both old and new scooters. And it's the last leg of Robert's mammoth trip from Madras to Manchester.
Look at this lot, a splendid array of great big superbikes of every different shape and size. But did you know the superbike isn't the biggest seller? The biggest seller at the moment are these, the scooter, the modern day stylish scooter. This is one of them, a Peugeot. There are loads of different ones. From Italy you've got Aprilia and Derby and Cagiva and many more. And then of course you've got the usual Japs, they've got the Yamaha and Honda and Suzuki and so on. But in the days of old, many years ago, of course you had Vespa and Lambretta. And in fact, across the other side of town is a place who have got exactly those two things. We shall take a blast from the past. Excuse me a second. Beam me up then, Scotty! Oh, look at this. Oh, I feel quite at home now. I've been beamed up in my parking and everything. And here I am on a Lambretta and I've got a Vespa next to me here. And this is what you used to be able to get many, many years ago. And there are certain type of people out there who believe that this is the only type of scooter. But is that the case? I don't know what you think, but I know the fellow at the other end of town, he thinks differently. So let's go and beam up and see what he has to say. Beam me up then, Scotty! Oh, God, it's a funny sensation that. Hello, Steve. I'm joined here by Steve Rogerson here at Rogers Motorcycles, where we've got this splendid array of large motorcycles and scooters. So, these modern day scooters, Steve, why are they so popular?
Oh, a number of reasons really. Very cheap to maintain, very cheap to insure, appeals to all the family, and all family can ride them. That's
the thing. What about the legality factor? If you've got a car licence, there is a section within it that where it allows you to ride one of these 50s, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just go out and do it.
Yeah, any person with a full car licence can ride one without L plates.
Yeah.
They've got a full licence for a moped as well.
But even if they had to take basic training, it's simple, isn't it? You know, it's a day course sort of thing, isn't it? And cheap.
It's pure training, no test to pass or anything like that.
Excellent. Okay. Now then, you know, who buys? Type of person that buys these things?
Oh God, anybody.
You get. I mean, you got to get the lady shopper, aren't you?
You get the lady
because you've got like this underneath the seat. There's a huge cavernous big space to stick your helmet, but you can also put your shopping under there, can't you?
You can put a little box on them at the back or anything like that. Yeah. But we can get a family walking in the showroom here, and any one member of the family could be the one that's buying it.
Yeah,
From the 16-year-old to the father, to the mother, you know, to the granny.
And in city centres, of course, executives and that lot with the, you know, they want to get in and out of town quick. I mean, that's where there's a big boom sale, isn't there? You know, and it's trendy with some stars as well, isn't it? You know, in London and there's radio DJs and things using them nowadays.
There are,
it's really hip in it and styles in.
Yeah, very trick, very. Yeah.
Well, on that basis, then, I mean, you know, retro's in as well. Okay, so this piece today we're talking about is also the original Vespas and Lambretta scooters from 20, 30 years ago. Do you really think that these babies are going to be around and about in the future?
I don't see any reason why not. I mean, they're so popular now. Who'd have thought 50 years ago that the scooters would have been as popular as they are now?
True enough, you're right, yeah, you're right. Right, well, that's Steve's opinion on these babies, and I must admit, he knows, because he sells plenty of them. But then again, I know a man at the other side of town who's got an opinion about the old ones, just the same. Whoa, I'm back here again. My Parker on, mic in hand, and Eric Tudor. Eric knows about these things. Eric, the latest sort of revival, or is it a late revival? I mean, this is a fairly old machine. Are people back into it again?
Well, they're back into it. They talk about young blood, but I think what it is, it's people what's Adam got married, got a mortgage, the kids are growing up, the mortgage is nearly paid, so they've got scooters again now.
And they've got a few quid spare, I suppose, and they're back in the passion they had before. They get another, I see, yeah. So, like, this thing you sat on now is what, 20 years old, is it?
Yeah, this is round about 20-year-old, yeah. Best.
To buy something like this, that is 20 years old, I mean, will it need something doing to it, or, I mean, knackered, or what?
It depends on what condition it is when you buy it. I mean, it's pretty lucky, like, this has been stored for the last 10 years, so it's not done that many miles, so this is really a good one, you know?
Yeah. And so, just give us a clue, like, what sort of cost will... It costs somebody out there to buy one of these?
To buy it instead the local papers and all that, you would pay anything from £500 to £1,000, I would think, for a mogul like this, because it's a 200cc.
That's quite a good value for money, I would have thought. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems it to me. But how about buying a new one? Can you buy a new one nowadays?
Oh, you can buy new ones like this one, for instance.
This is brand new, is it?
The difference is it's modern technology. What they've done, they've used the best of everything, all the moguls, and built that out of it.
And where's this made then?
That's actually made in India.
Blinking out, you never believe it. But the Vespa, for those who don't know, it's an Italian bred thing, isn't it? And then your Lambrettas as well. They're Italian, but they were made elsewhere as well, weren't they?
They were made all over the place. They made them in Germany, they made them in France, and also in India.
India as well, blinking it, they get about. What do you think of this modern day scooter, the latest concept, Rev and Goes?
They're all right in their own way. I mean, as for like women driving them, you know, they kick up or they electric start, they go where you want them, they stop when you hit the brakes, you know, they're perfect. But they're not the sort of scooter what you associate me and the older generation what's been into them with, you know, you won't catch us on them. We're used to like metal bodies, you know, getting your hands dirty, not scared of that. And also, the thing is with the plastic scooter, I call them plastics, if you fall off, you're going to have to pay a lot of money. If you fall off of these, you go in your old shed, you get a tin of filler out, fill them up and repaint them.
Got it.
And that's it, you know. So these are, in my opinion, are a lot better. You might have little bits of trouble with them here and there, but I think if you tried one of these, you'd be stuck on them.
Really? You get the bug like?
Yeah, definitely.
Diet. Well, Eric promised me I'd enjoy myself and I'd like it. Well, I do, it's great fun, but I must admit I do prefer the latest thing where you just rev and go. But anyway, there is one out there in the form of a scooter to suit you.
We were on our final leg of the journey, with only 2 countries left before we reached Nuri's home city of Barcelona. We had caught the ferry from Greece and after a turbulent 8 hours arrived in the Italian port of Ancona. However, the customs and excise officers were waiting and detained us on suspicion of smuggling drugs. They stripped the bike down and sent in the sniffer dogs.
They try with one dog, like that. Come here, right here, here. Here. Nothing. I say, it's finished. Say, no, 1 moment. They come in with another dog. Well, we're trying with another dog, the same. They say, they losing the time. Second dog. They put the dog in and we thought it's finished. They come with a third dog.
Nothing could dampen our spirits, and after 4 hours we were released, but unfortunately, fate threw us a final blow when the piston in the bike blew. With no mechanic willing to tackle such an old bike, we were forced to put the trusty Enfield on the train. Anyway, we stopped, we're in the train station, the bike's going on the train, it's kaput again, and wash my hands. Wash my hands. After 8 months on the road, we have finally arrived in Barcelona, and Nuria saw her family for the first time in a year. After 3 months of good food and a Spanish Christmas, it was time to leave, but this time minus Nuria.
Well, don't think I'm ready to go because I'm not going. No anymore. Because I say, from Spain to England, I'm taking the aeroplane. Why? Because I think I have enough for 8 months going with a motorbike motorcycle.
It would take me 5 days to drive through the icy French countryside to the port of Cherbourg. But not to break with tradition, I once again broke down, and it was the turn of a French mechanic to get me motoring once again. Although I did have a few problems understanding him.
12 volts. 12 volts. 12 volts. 12 volts. Apparemment c'est ok, enfin batterie bonne.
On a cold January evening, I finally got the boat to Southampton. It was the first time I could truly relax, as I had almost completed a journey that had taken me through deserts, over mountains, and into some of the most hostile areas in the world. With first light, I started the bike and headed for Manchester. But after a year of driving 23,000 kilometres, there was a certain irony in the way I made it home, on the back of an AA van.
Well, here he is. He's back. He's in one piece, and the bike's running again. And he's still actually using this this bike every day, I believe. Is that true, Robert?
Yeah, I use the bike every day. I mean, it's fantastic. It's very easy to get into work, and it doesn't break down, well, too often anyway. My girlfriend still refuses to get on it though. She won't go anywhere on it now. But good news there is she's no longer my girlfriend, she's my fiancée. We're getting married next year.
Oh, well, congratulations. So have you planned anywhere yet for your honeymoon?
I'll tell you one thing, it won't be bloody India.
It's good to see Robert arrived home safe and at last very dry. And after the break, Jeff goes behind the scenes to see how the new Norton Superbike is shaping up.
Now Norton, there's a name to conjure with, 100 years old this year. But here we are at Norton's new home in Rochdale. Not Bracebridge Street where they used to come from, because we're at MCD. This is where they've developed the new range of Norton bikes. We're going to have a look inside and have a sneak preview of just what's going to be on offer. I started by asking renowned engine designer Al Melling, who counts TVR as one of his many clients and who is the man behind MCD, just how he got involved with Norton.
A group of quite wealthy people in Minneapolis, headed by John Overgrass, formed a company, March, using the March Formula One name to produce a superbike. And what he wanted to do was to produce bikes, but using, implying Formula One technology. And he formed this company, came over to us and said, look, can you design a range of engines for this idea? And of course we did a contract and away we went. He went down south, I believe into Oxfordshire, to have the bikes designed using, again, Formula One technology, a lot of carbon fibre frame, etc., etc.
And I think this did make the press at the time, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Yeah. The problem is that when you do this kind of thing using investors, the investors want to see things happening very quickly. They don't want to wait till you get to the moon before they start seeing returns and so on. And I think really the thing started running out of time. And I got a little bit concerned about this. And of course at that time I'd been speaking to the Aquilinis in Vancouver. This is Aquilini Investment Group.
Yeah.
They own the Norton name. Very, very wealthy people in Vancouver. I believe they've just done a bid for Olympic Park in Ontario.
Yeah.
And they own the Norton name. And what I did is put these people together and brought Norton back using British technology, American money, and everything's going to be okay. Bring it into England.
So what makes bike engines so special?
If you design a bike engine, you design the engine. Then you've got to design the drive to the starter motor, which a car doesn't have. You stick it on the bike, it drives the flywheel. There's no other gears involved. With a bike, you've got a train of gears, a sprag clutch, and all the rest of it. Then you've got the alternator drive. Then you've got the primary drive from the engine to the gearbox and to the clutch. Then you've got to design the clutch, you don't on a car. And then you've got to design the gearbox, which you don't on a car. So, like for example, TVR, all these people come to us and say, design it as an engine, right? And we have this big high-tech input, right? When you take a bike engine, it's like 10 times the amount of complication.
Which is why testing is so important. Well, this here is the 750 Manx engine going through its early shakedown tests, and you begin to see it's not just building an engine. When it comes to testing, there's mega money involved in that as well. So here you can see the injectors, they're well above the Venturi intakes there. Won't be like that on the road bike, needless to say. It's got sensors all over it, but it's great to see this engine for the first time being run up on the bench, getting some horsepower out of it, general shakedown tests. So it's this is the beginning of greater things. Oh, what's it feel like? I mean, I could see you watching that intently, but this is your baby, you've designed it. That first firing up, it must be a magical feeling.
It is, but you know
it's going to work, do you?
You know every inch of it, you know what's going on, you are listening to it, and of course you're watching it. But normally you wouldn't be here. You would be in the control room behind this glass window. The reason why we're here is because we're in the throes of very fine design of the software for the management system. So what's happening is that where I'm turning this lever to operate the throttle, normally on the bike that would be a servo motor, it would be a stepper motor, and it's fly-by-wire. Until that's sorted out, I'm having to do it by hand.
Right.
But it is a feeling of, hey, it's there, you know, and you can feel it. But the thing about what maybe you've noticed is that this engine sounds a lot different to normal 4-cylinder 750 motorcycle engines.
Well, it's so noisy in here that I didn't actually.
Well,
I mean, it's got a lovely edge to it. But
what it is that it's got, a lot of engine people would call it grunt. If you watch a Formula 1 Grand Prix, when they come into the pits, the engine is and that's the noise that you're getting from here. The reason being is because it's got very short intakes, which is just like Formula 1 practice, to allow it to get to 17,000 RPM. Of course, when you hear a Grand Prix car on the track, it's a scream. At 17,000 RPM, this will also be a scream.
I bet it will.
But at the speeds that we're running it here, we haven't asked the guys in the control room, but we're probably going up to about 8,500. But at that speed, it's After that, it moves into a and after that, it ends up in a very big scream. All engine people are, believe me. You know, when you stand on a bit straight and you listen to Formula 1 cars going past, you've got to try and ascertain what RPM those guys are running, because, you know, maybe next year that team will have your contract.
So far, so good. But what about the rest of the bike?
What we've done is designed a range of bikes using almost engine casting design
technologies,
concepts, like for example the Nemesis frame is a casting, the Manx frame is a casting, and because we're using castings it means that we can use different materials, like for example the new Manx frame is magnesium. Remember that magnesium is only 1/3 of the weight of aluminium, so a Manx frame for us is like incredibly lightweight,
but also incredibly expensive.
The Nemesis here, which is well over £30,000, it's got everything is magnesium. The wheels are magnesium, the frame is magnesium, the engine is magnesium. It weighs absolutely nothing. It produces, I think at the present time, it's about 290 horsepower. It's speed capability of well over 225 miles an hour. It's got active suspension. When you accelerate quickly, The front forks collapse to keep the weight forward so that the front wheel won't come off the ground.
Is collapse the right word, is it? I mean, it sounds
well,
it
dramatic. Droops then.
Yeah.
The swinging arm has got a torsional regulator on it. It's all hydraulically driven so that the swinging arm actually comes up and the seat goes down, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's to get a torque reaction onto the wheel so that you get more grip, so that you can actually use the power of the bike.
So it's constantly weight distribution then?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course the same thing happens when you brake.
Yeah.
So once this is done, then you've probably got the safest ever motorcycle that you could possibly produce.
So just who is going to buy this expensive piece of exotica?
I go to a lot of corporate offices and go into boardrooms, and you'd be amazed how many Sennas, 916 Ducatis and so on are sat in boardrooms just doing nothing. They just sat there as a talking point.
Yeah. This is the boys and the toys, is it, and all the rest of it?
Almost, yeah.
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 But
the guy that buys a Nemesis and uses it, he probably uses it just to go to the pub on a Sunday morning.
What a shame, what a shame.
Well,
but,
yeah, but, you know, that's how it is these days.
So, there we are. Ambitious plans from a man with proven ability. Deposits have been taken and deliveries are expected to start by April. Look out for a road test here on Two Wheels. I can't wait.
On Two Wheels next week. If you've just returned from this year's NEC Bike Show, tired and confused and perhaps still undecided about what to buy, we'll give you another look at some of the new machinery about to hit the showrooms.